All right, popping back in for another segment. So we are building off of our post-fight reaction to the Canelo and Crawford fight from this past weekend. And one of the things that we want to talk about, which I think there's a little bit of disagreement. I thought it was not kind of universal, but it's just in my mind, is what's next for both fighters. So just to set the context, right now we have Canelo Alvarez, who is 35 years old, just lost all his belts. This was the third loss of his career. And at this time, I don't necessarily see him going up until 175, but that's just kind of setting the stage for Canelo. Crawford, Terrence Bud Crawford, is 37 years old. He just secured his third undisputed title or like reign in as a super middleweight to also accompany his welterweight and junior lightweight super uh junior middleweight super lightweight undisputed title. Um and he is not a natural 168 pounds. He jumped right over middleweight. And he, of course, holds a belt at 154 pounds. So, with that said, we're going to start with Boston. What is the next step for Bud and Canelo? And just take either one of them in what order you want to, but talk about both of them, please.
Well, start with Canelo because that's the easier one. I think that's the one that's been talked about. And if I'm not mistaken, uh, Canelo Alvarez is, I don't know that he's contracted to fight Hamza Shiraz, but that is the fight that has been, I guess, for lack of a better word, socialized with Canelo Alvarez when he made this agreement with Turkey or whatever they've got. But that's what it looks to be. It looks like Hamza Shiraz is what's next for Canelo Alvarez. I think that is a huge mistake for Canelo coming off of this loss. But for a guy that just made over $100 million, it's going to be tough to get yourself up to fight for anything less than that. You're not fighting for belts at this point anymore, right? You just lost all your belts. You're fighting for money. You're fighting for glory. So it's either Shiraz, who is a 168 pounder coming up from 160 pounds, a massive 168 pounder. This guy, I think, is what, 6'5" or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, from the UK, that's a huge fight out there. That's a fight that's going to have a huge gate. Probably a fight that they're going to put on pay-per-view out there in the UK. Probably be free for us, but on pay-per-view in the UK, they'll sell out the O2. That's a massive, massive fight. Um, David Benavidez is a closed casket funeral waiting to happen. He doesn't need to be anywhere near David Benavidez, and anybody on his team that is encouraging him to go fight David Benavidez after this, these aren't his friends. Uh, I think Hamza Shiraz is a mistake. I think Hamza Shiraz can really, really hurt Canelo Alvarez, but that's who I think is next for Canelo. Bud, that is a mystery to me. I have no idea what is in Bud's future. 168 is not where he really belongs. Canelo fight was a very, very calculated risk, given Canelo's height, given Canelo's reach, and given his skill set. Um, there just isn't the risk reward factor with fighting some of these other guys at 168 pounds just isn't there. Um, there was an interesting fight that somebody had thrown out there today on boxing social media, and it was Dimitri Bivol. Either meeting Dimitri Bivol at a catch weight of some kind, or having Dimitri Bivol, or going up, straight up just going up and fighting Dimitri Bivol at 175 pounds. Bivol is a smaller 175 pounder. He's not, some of those massive guys that you see up there, some of the larger guys up there. Um, he's not gonna Look, he only made $10 million guaranteed to fight Canelo. He's gonna end up with more money, but I don't see him ending up with more money fighting Dimitri Bivol in a fight that would be basically a Madrimov Part 2. I mean, fighting Bivol is fighting a different kind of version of Israel Madrimov, and I don't know that anybody was really blown away by that fight. So yeah, those that is, I guess, right? Because if Bud is fighting, what else has Bud got to fight for except for money and belts at this point? Bivol has got the belts. Bivol has got the scalps, right? He's got a better Beef win. He's got a Canelo Alvarez win. Um, Guys who have put on weight, who try to cut the weight off and come back down, that historically does not go very well, especially for guys who are doing it naturally. Going back down to 160 and fighting a guy like Jean Beck or Carlos Adames, I just don't see those fights as moving the needle. Um, Plus, that they're a little bit tricky to make. Adamas kind of and his team kind of had a falling out with Turkey. Apparently, there's still PBC ties there. So yeah, I don't want to take up too much more time, but yeah, Bivol maybe for Bud, as crazy as that might sound. Remember, Canelo sounded crazy as hell a year ago for Bud as well. So maybe Bivol, and I think almost definitely Shiraz for Canelo. Although I think that's a very very dangerous fight for Canelo Alvarez.
All right. Coach Dave.
Well, I tell you what I hope. I hope both of them just go ahead on and retire and sit on down, man. They ain't really got nothing to prove. People either fighting for loot or legacy, man. And for both of these guys, you know, Crawford might want to secure some more loot. That's fine. His legacy is set already, and we'll get into that in the next set. He's set. That Joker's just the greatest, man. Canelo. I would add something to that. If legacy, that Shiraz might be good, or Benavidez. Just if he's trying to save face. But honestly, to be real, the guy. Get out this contract, man. Just sit it on down if you can, man. Neither one of these guys has anything to prove. For Crawford, I would say, where I say people are fighting for loot and legacy, hey, if you want to fight just for revenge, and I told you so, because people gonna find. Mark my word, hear me. People gonna find stuff to always say. Them haters, why he never fight Boots? Why he never fight? They're gonna say all that stuff. So unless Crawford just want to go and shut everybody up while his body still can do it or whatever, then he's fighting for, just out of sheer meanness and to say I told y'all so, which he don't even have to fight for the respect anymore. So I personally hope both of them just sit it on down and chill on out and go and set off into the to the sunset, man. But for Canelo, Shiraz, or Benavidez. Other than that, what else is there, man? And then for Crawford, whoever you want to pick and say I told you so. I don't see him going up to fight Bivol, not at no 175, but at whatever weight he fought Bivol, man. Same thing I'm telling y'all about Canelo. He would beat this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Pick him to beat Bivol.
Bro, I'm trying. I ain't even gonna get into it with you, bro, because you had the same look when I told you about it.
Yeah.
So you got no. It ain't even worth the argument with you. Yes, he would beat Bivol, and this Joker would beat Boots.
Will he beat Benavidez?
Now, that one, bro, because of that height, that would be a good fight.
All right. I mean, you tell me it's called boxing.
Now, let me finish.
Okay.
No, because you asked me a question.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Now, if I'm having to pick, I'm definitely picking Crawford. And I'll tell you why. Because Crawford is a better boxer than Benavidez. And the main thing that's going to hurt Benavidez is because go back and watch his fights and see how much this fool squares up when he fights. He is not a better boxer than Terrence Crawford. And he is not more boxing savvy than Terrence Crawford. So would he beat, to answer your question, to be crystal clear, Bivol, yes. Benavidez, yes. Boots, yes, he beating them all. He's
Yeah,
real.
I don't think Boots
That
is a question anymore. I don't think anybody's
right.
picking.
But I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting
Yeah.
you know about this boxing skill. So people gonna find things to say, and hey, so again, he will beat Beaver, he will beat Benavidez, and he will beat Boots. And to be honest with you, out of all of those, you know, he probably stopping Beaver because of how Benavidez squares up. He probably stopping the monster, and probably the best fight, man, because of Boots' skills, would be him and Boots. But Boots gonna have trouble when he start moving. We already saw what happened when Boots fought a boxer, bro.
Yeah,
Crawford.
yeah.
So
I
I'm
have
gonna leave
no
it at
interest
that.
in the
I'm
Boots
gonna leave it
fight.
at that, Cam, for the sake of time. But
That's good. Now,
I want to be.
coach giving
What
us a lesson in
what about the rematch?
alliteration and stuff. He's just like Bud gonna beat Boots. He gonna be Benavidez. And he gonna beat Bivol. I'm just like, he about, all right, go ahead, bust out your rhyme out there with your coach.
What
But
about a rematch?
what's
What
I
about running
don't
this shit back with Canelo?
man, I don't think so. They're not
I
gonna do
wouldn't
it.
want to see it, bro. It's
Nobody
just,
wants to do it.
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It'll be the same old story, man.
He'll stop him. I think he'll stop him if he fights him again. I think he
Probably will,
stops
bro.
him. I think he
I
stops him.
Canelo
yeah.
got a lot of pride. He's still Mexican now. I don't care how much money he got. He's still Mexican. But
Yeah. Well, go
so
ahead, Cam. I know
I'm
you
gonna
haven't
say
gone yet.
the Hamzat Shiraz, against Canelo is intriguing. I don't think we have to ever worry about that happening. He's 26 years old, undefeated, upstart, long rangey, the type of person that will um, leave Canelo flat on his face, and I don't think he wants to end his career like that. And Canelo has nothing to gain. I don't see Canelo. I haven't seen him fight for just it's like it's not for a title or it's not even if it's not for a title, it's still for like a Ring Magazine title or something. I just can't see him. And then with the interesting thing with Bivol against Bud, I was thinking, yeah, I was like, you know what? He's just gonna put on his cape. He's gonna get out there. Why not? But then my brain, even though I did pick against Bud, it's just like Bivol is just actually like a bigger, better version of Madrimov, who gave Bud a lot of trouble. But I don't think we have to worry about seeing that either. So in academia, when we're writing, right, so we have to, write up these papers. There's this point of diminishing returns, right? And you see, it's usually like for me, after about 2 hours, even if I still keep on working, all the stuff that I do or write or produce is going to be trash. I'm not going to really gain from it. So I usually just kind of quit. And I think that's what Bud and Canelo are going to do. They're the point of diminishing returns. Any fight that they have going forward is going to be going to be a pay cut from what they got, and then particularly any fighter that they face, except for maybe Terrence Crawford, is going to be a step down in either their status or their just kind of level as a fighter. Like if he fights Bivol, then that's actually kind of going up. It's challenging himself a better fighter and a bigger fighter, but um, why at this point they don't. Coach says you can gain looter legacy. There's some loot out there. It's not going to be what you made. And then besides Terrence Crawford, there's nothing that you can do to add to your legacy. Um, but if he's feeling froggy and wants to jump up there with Bivol, I'm sure that your boy Turkey, Excellency, has a nice bag for him. So with that said, any last statements? We're talking about what's next, and then we're gonna end this up talking about this new pound for pound.
Mm.
This is the last thing I'll say, and it's kind of talking to what about with Dave. Is Dave proved his theory right this weekend, and I used a lot of what I consider conventional boxing wisdom when it came to the breakdown of this fight. I did the same thing with Alexander Usyk when he fought Tyson Fury. And I picked Fury for the same reason that I picked Canelo Alvarez. Even though we had seen Usyk fight at heavyweight before, I said there's a little bit too much size, a little bit too much strength, too much weight, and skill on the Fury end. I don't think Usyk is going to be able to overcome it. And Usyk proved me wrong, and Terrence Crawford proved me wrong. And I think the moral of that story is that conventional boxing wisdom applies most of the time. But when it comes to these special guys, these all-time great level guys, the rules don't apply. The
Mm.
rules don't apply. So whoever it is, whether it's Bivol or whoever it is, it after last Saturday, it's gonna be tough to pick against Bud.
There it is.